Spring the clocks ahead. What is ahead for spring? AMHQ weekend starts right now. Another coastal storm, another set of headaches, and they've all had their own challenges. Remember with Quinn, it was about where would the rain snow line set up? Where would the heaviest snow be? This one, the concern is, will it be so far offshore that it'll bring all the weather with it? And right now, it doesn't look like that's a possibility. So now the question is, how close to the coast does it get? Do we get into the heavy precip into New England with this coastal system? So here's everything coming together off the coast. I'll pick it up where Kelly left off. We take you into Monday night and Tuesday. That's when this coastal system really gets going. Now, this is going to be a strong low, and it's quite possible this low pressure is even stronger than Quinn. It's going to mean a lot of wind, but still with the position, and both models are in line with keeping it offshore. With the position, we're going to be looking for most of the wind to be offshore, but there's going to be snow. And so how much of the heavy snow do we get? It's all about the position of the low. The European, which, by the way, most of the forecast that we've seen in the last 3 days or so has taken it farther offshore. It's nudging it just a little back towards the coast, and that nudge means more snow for places like Boston, for Providence, for Portland, Maine. So here's the forecast right now. This is a forecast you've got to watch for changes, because as we get new model runs, as we get new data about what's happening with the systems that are going to form this coastal storm, this forecast will evolve. Right now, 8 to 12 inches for southern New England. There'll be about a foot plus across parts of northeast Maine, where we're going to get about 2 days worth of snow out of this system. So here we start with your Monday forecast. This is 10 o'clock. And again, it's that wintry mix around the D.C. area. This is not your storm. Philly, it's probably not a lot for you either. New York City, you're not likely to get a lot out of this. But with the position of the low and with the moisture that you're going to have from the Atlantic and with how strong the low is going to be, we're likely to get here more than a half foot or plus of snow across southern New England, getting up into Maine. And again, with both the European and the GFS coming in line with that here, there's more confidence, but it's not 100%. It's not a guarantee. There's still uncertainty in the forecast. So we'll have to watch just the development of the low and the position of the low. But Boston, either way, you're going to get snow, and the timing of it is coming in on Tuesday. The question remains as to how much snow do we get. Meanwhile, Reynolds, we had big hail last night. And, watching these river gauges, they are still going up on the Mississippi. In fact, we got about 10 more days of major flood stage for several locations. And here's where the rain is right now, coming right into that area. Reynolds is talking about all the lightning here with this line of thunderstorms that is stretching all the way from Texas into Georgia. So it's crossing over Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and we're seeing these storms train, meaning they're moving right over the same areas. Now, they are sinking south, just not terribly fast. So that's why we're getting so much rain. It's heavy rain, the kind that's very challenging for driving. You're going to be dealing with that all throughout the morning hours today. This is lunchtime, finally getting some breaks on the I-20 corridor, but then we get into the I-10 corridor, and from Mobile to Pensacola to the Spring Breakers and Destin and Panama City. Get ready for thunderstorms, maybe with some gusty winds or hail that are going to be coming in here later today. By far, heavy rain is going to be one of the biggest concerns. And New Orleans, remember we were about a month ago talking about all the Mardi Gras beads, like tons, literally tons of Mardi Gras beads that were in the storm drains, clogging things up. Hopefully that's not a concern today, because we are going to get some more heavy rainfall. That continues throughout the midday hours here. And then by tonight, all shifting back into Florida. I know you guys had a tough Saturday with the rainfall there, but there's more to come. And interestingly, guys, heads up, as the cold air comes in on the northern side of the system, Nashville, Tennessee, tonight, tomorrow morning, you could get some snowfall. So be ready for that. I know it is mid-March and it's hard to think about, but it could happen down to the central Appalachians. Of course, Virginia, we're talking more about that as well. And when it comes to the rain, we are looking at maybe an inch plus of rain, especially into the southeast. We got a couple more hours, or at least a full day to go. It wasn't the question, but the question is, how close to the coast does it get? So let's look at all the ingredients coming in. It's one of the challenges in forecasting. It is the storm itself hasn't formed just yet. This is one piece, and you can see some snow now sliding through Iowa, getting just north of the St. Louis area, but St. Louis, I just checked your temperature. You're 41, so we're not going to be getting snow out of that. Now, let's take a look at tonight's forecast. That piece plus our southern storm. We see the moisture from that, the low pressure from that, most importantly here, all start to impact our weather through the mid-Atlantic. So now we've got some snow falling in Kentucky, in West Virginia, down into the Appalachians of North Carolina, Tennessee. We could get some snow out of this as well. Maybe not to advisory level, but still don't be surprised about that. It is advisory level with winter storm warnings up for places like Boone and Roanoke, Virginia. Several inches of snow here, and it'll be perhaps a travel concern just because of the timing that is coming on in. Because here's Sunday. Your Sunday Tuesday is wet. Roads are wet in North Carolina and Virginia. But overnight Monday, you wake up Monday morning, and now we've got some snow that's starting to fall. So we'll watch for that into the morning hours, beginning and then continuing into the afternoon here across West Virginia and Virginia. So this is lunchtime. We still have some snow, or at least a wintry mix falling, and then it's over across the I-64 corridor as we get through the afternoon. Temperatures aren't terribly cold, so that should help with road conditions. But if they're not cleared, if they're not treated, that will be a challenge. And then we get you into Tuesday, early morning. That's the overnight, and that's when we start talking coastal storms. So let's get through this first. This portion of the storm will bring a couple of inches in Kentucky, a couple of inches into portions of western and central Virginia. Richmond up towards D.C., not expected to get much on the I-95 corridor. It's more like I-81 that will get the accumulating snowfall there, and more on the grass than on the roads. I mean, it is March, it is warm, so it's, it's hard to get a lot of snowfall unless it's really heavy, like with a nor'easter. And that's what we got to watch as we get into Tuesday night and early Monday night and early Tuesday morning. So here we go. This is lunchtime on Tuesday. Here is the GFS, the American model, and the position of our storms. We've been talking about that benchmark and how close it is to it. The models now, both the GFS and the European, bringing it a little closer to the benchmark, meaning that we're going to have that precip shield much closer into the northeast. The low itself looks very strong. In fact, it looks stronger than we had with Quinn. So that's going to be a wind maker as well. A lot of the wind offshore, but some of it approaching the New England coastline. So that's going to be another issue, another concern with tides as well. I think more so with the wave action and the onshore flow that we'll see some concerns for some coastal flooding as well. So here's your forecast for snowfall. When we put both models together, and there's other models to put into the mix as well, the forecast is for 8 to 12 inches of snow for southeastern New England, including up around the Cape and then up into down east Maine. Boston, you're close. You're about 5 to 8 inches of snow in the forecast.
Wow.
And so we go from Reynolds, the winter, and now we've got spring. But I mean, it's like literally